Austin Reaves, boy.
You're going to give him a clap for that.
That's the Reaves clap tonight.
I mean,
man.
I'm not saying a word.
He was almost my MVP before that shot, the way he played. But definitely, that's a nice win overtime and big shot for him.
And you know what I got to do? Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers. Brought to you by your Southern California Honda dealers. Chris McGee, Derek Fisher, James Worthy. Allie's going to join us. Brez Trudell, everyone's a part of the post-game show.
Who was your pick for tonight?
I think I picked Austin Reaves.
You did, yeah.
And I said the opportunity door is open.
And he took your shot.
Young man. And then I threw it to John Ireland and Stu. John Ireland said it. Austin Reaves with the shot of his life, and he's standing by with John and Stu.
So game on the line. The ball ends up in your hands. Take us through the last play.
I mean, there was about one second left, and I didn't have anything else to do but shoot it. I'm walking on the court. Coach Mike P told me, hey, if it comes to you, knock it down. So, great pass, and I made a shot.
Well, what happens, Austin? You've turned into a three-point shooter. All of your attempts tonight were from behind the arc, and you made 5 of the 6.
Yeah, I mean, I just try to give what the defense takes from me. The guys made really good plays for me, and Coach put me in a good position. So it's a good team win.
Austin, what does it mean to you that Frank Vogel and the coaching staff stuck with you throughout the fourth quarter and throughout overtime?
It means a lot. I guess I have their trust, I can say that. But, it feels good. Just to be out there competing. That's the most minutes I've played in a while. So I'm happy to be playing basketball for a living.
Well, you talk about the most minutes for a while. Obviously, the leg is starting to really feel like it should feel, and you've gotten your legs under you now since you've come back.
Yeah, that's what it takes is just repetition and playing basketball games. This is the highest level basketball that you could possibly play. So it's a grind every day, but I feel good. And like I said, it's a good team win.
What a moment for you, Austin. Congratulations. Go enjoy it with your teammates.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
That's it from here in Dallas. For Stu Lance, I'm John Ireland. Now let's go back to the studio in El Segundo. Geeter, take it away.
Thank you, John. Amazing. Great game in Dallas. Both teams battling shorthanded players and the health and safety protocols. For only the second time this year, the Lakers have now won 3 games in a row. They're 5-1 in OT. But this moment kind of belongs to that young man right there. When this game was tied, he actually created a steal, caused some havoc. Lakers went the other way, hit a 3, and took the lead. He played fantastic. He had a great pass to Russ early on in that OT. That Porzingis, we weren't sure if he went through the net or not and blocked it. He played fantastic. 5 of 6 from 3. I don't know who had it in their office pool with LeBron, AD, Russ, and Ellington on the floor that Austin Reaves would take the last shot. But it's amazing how that developed. LeBron, we just thought, was he going to drive? Is he going to attack? Is he going to step back 3? End of the game situation, tied, go to double OT, or LeBron wins it, he gets doubled, goes to Ellington, goes to Russ. You thought maybe their job was to foul Russ in the corner. Russ, good job. Get into that lane, and who's sitting right there ready to take the big shot? Austin Reaves. What a moment.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing moment. I think for any guy in the NBA that at some point you grew up watching other guys have these moments. And so for you to then now be one of those guys that fans and kids and young people all over the world watch hit a winning shot in the NBA. There's no greater feeling.
You should know.
For a player. And so it's just, most of the time those moments happen, especially for guys like Austin, kind of by accident. It's not the plan. Usually, we also criticize guys when they act like they're scared to shoot, and he should have shot it instead of passing it.
Mm-hmm. Such a great point.
That was the right play to make, and then trust your teammate from there. And Austin Reaves, happy for him, great moment.
Team went on that retreat in the offseason, went to Vegas, came back. Austin Reaves had a contract. He was initially going to be a two-way player. You see the joy on their faces right there. The first guy to jump on him is Russell Westbrook. AD joins. The entire team mobs him. Remember a couple years ago, Danny Green hit a huge shot in Dallas, almost around that same spot. But the joy on the faces of those guys for a young man like Austin Reaves also says a lot about him. Right, James?
It says a lot about his character and you know what he means to a team. You know, very likable person when they went to Vegas on that trip. Obviously, something came out about his personality, his willingness to be a team player, and that's without even seeing on the timeout Chicago Bulls were playing, and Michael knew that they were going to double team him. He said, "Kerr, be ready. Be ready. I'm coming to you." That's what it's all about. That's what this reminds me of. I mean, Westbrook obviously had hit the big three before, but they moved the ball very well that last play, executed very well, pump fake drive. 5 for 6. He only shot threes tonight. The kid can shoot. He can play. Did a lot of other things in the intangible department on the defensive end that coaches just love. But knocking down that shot, I'm just very happy for him and the team. They grinded it out in an overtime game, and they got what they needed.
You said the word that I was just going to use to fish. It's a grinded out type of game, right? You know you're shorthanded. It's been a crazy 48 hours with this team canceling both practices. Malik Monk having to come home. Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard staying back. THT staying back. Health and safety protocols. Everyone getting tested. Billy Mack, John Ireland stepping in. It's just been a crazy turning of events. This kind of a game, you see it's low scoring. It goes to overtime. They didn't have a great second quarter. The back and forth kind of type of atmosphere. I'm not going to put too much stock into one win, but for a night, this feels real good. It feels real good getting on that plane, and it feels real good as a basketball team. That's now 1-6 of 8, right? That's 1-3 in a row, and you're starting to play some better basketball. Yeah, I mean, I think like we talked about the reaction of the team, you know, in terms of Austin Reaves making that basket, but what it does for a group, you know, really binding them together. You know, there's something to be said about a grinded out style of game. And we were talking earlier about, you know, the Lakers having LeBron, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook. Very few teams have 3 guys that are really good below the free throw line extended and that force the defense to put 2 on the basketball. Yeah. And so with the Lakers defensively at times having challenges, slowing teams down, there's something to be said about them being more deliberate offensively. Yeah. Right? In close games, late games, they're not shooting quick shots. They're getting the shot that they want. And that's something that they can look at carrying forward. Maybe they don't want to have the game be 120 to 112. They want the game to be lower scoring so that the game can then be decided by most nights they're going to have the 3 most accomplished players on the court in LeBron, AD, and Russ. You want those guys on your side in close games down the stretch. I'm glad you mentioned those guys. LeBron, 19 shots, AD, 18 shots, Westbrook, 18 shots. All 3 guys with 20 or more points. The word patience comes to mind. AD, not a great first half at all, but then came out in that second half with a big third quarter. All of them impacting that overtime. AD starts it off with a spin and a shot. He needed to hit that for himself. Westbrook, a huge 3 after an air ball in the other corner, makes a big one. James, LeBron getting out in transition with the dunk. So all 3 stars impacting the game when you need it most.
And we talk about, you know, in some of the games that they fell a little short of and, you know, they lost. But you look at the individual numbers, and they were okay. Like, AD would have good numbers, but they weren't impactful numbers. The impactful game came tonight. In the overtime game, down the stretch when they needed to grind it out, AD went to work, you know, when he needed to. Westbrook hitting a big shot, LeBron making the good decisions. And then guys like Ellington and also Reaves, you know, it was a good team effort. But I think, you know, they're learning how to play the game, like Fish said. Be a little bit more deliberate, wait for their shots, don't be panicking. And I think tonight was a good sign that they played the full game. It wasn't pretty all the time. The second quarter wasn't that great, but they figured out a way to get angry and not angry, but you know, to really take care of the business when they needed to. 3 of us were about to break down that last defensive possession when Maxey hit the 3. The bank. That's what we were talking about before the Lakers went out and had that last possession. AD leaves him. Everyone kind of gets into the paint. They kick it out. He banks it in. So it wasn't a perfect game by any means. No, not at all. And
that defensive breakdown, essentially, just losing track of the idea that, like, you're ahead by 3.
You're good.
If Brunson's driving into the lane, challenging LeBron at the basket, give that up, stay home on the three-point shooter. But I also wanted to say, for this particular Lakers team, like, they, Frank Vogel is starting to maybe think about, like, what is his closing lineup going to look like?
Yeah.
And it'll obviously depend on which guys are going well, but to be able to you have to surround LeBron, AD, and Russ with shooting and spacing.
Have to space the floor. Have to.
So for it to be Ellington and Reaves tonight, very interesting to watch.